Hey, folks, man, this is Monk, and we are back with another episode of Classes of Cinematics. And join as always with my co-host, we got Bobby Blockbuster.
Yo, yo, yo.
Yeah, folks, man, on this episode, we got another heavy hitter, and this is an interesting one, whereas I feel like this film wasn't as highly appreciated at the time of its release as it is now. And it's one of them things where we really haven't seen duplicated since then, man.
No.
Maybe not since Dolomite Is My Name, where we see this kind of assembly of talent. But we're talking about Harlem Nights from 1989. This film came out originally November 17th. It's directed by Eddie Murphy, and the screenplay is by Eddie Murphy. This film had a budget of $30 million. Box office, it grossed $95 million. And probably did twice that on rentals and sales, since then. The story goes as this. In the waning days of Prohibition, Sugar Ray and his adopted son, Quick, run a speakeasy club called Sugar Ray's. When gangsters Bugsy Calhoune learns that Sugar Ray's place is pulling in more money than his own establishment, the Pitty Pat Club, he pays corrupt cop Phil Cantone to close Club Sugar Ray down. Quick doesn't exactly help the situation when he falls for Calhoune's gun moll, Miss Dominique La Rue. That's essentially the story here. We got a crazy cast, man.
Yes,
so this cast is very significant, and it's going to point to some of the stuff we'll be mentioning about this film later. But we got Eddie Murphy starring as Quick. Richard Pryor is Sugar Ray, the senior club owner, and he adopted Quick in this. We also got Red Fox. We get Jasmine Guy, Arsenio Hall, Della Reese, Danny Aiello, Charlie Murphy, Stan Shaw, Layla Rashawn, Michael Lerner.
Dog, if this was a boxing match, you'd have just knocked somebody out.
Berlinda Tolbert, Thomas McCall Ford. He actually had a job working on this film. We got Robin Harris. We got Miguel A. Nunez Jr., David Marciano, Reynaldo Ray, a.k.a. Red. That's my man from Comic View. Jati Kumbuka. We've seen him on a lot of films in this era. Previously too in this era. Mike Polizos, Ray Murphy Sr. Hold up, who the hell was he? Was that Eddie Murphy dad? I don't know. Kathleen.
When anyone with a Murphy and the name is, I'm sure it's got some kind of ties to him.
Kathleen Bradley. They got Michael Buffer to do the boxing scene, bro. And Roberto Duran is in. Whoa, I didn't even pick up what I didn't know. I just found out that today. Wow. Woody Omens, Robbie Reed, Howard Sims, and there's a bunch of other people in here, man.
He looks like he got
Tyler Granderson Jones. Yeah. I think we're getting toward the end of Rick Aiello against Danny Aiello's brother. But man, this film is crazy, man. I guess we got to get into the cast, man. First of all, So for one thing, man, when you read this, man, any other time this film came out, this would be something to really this would be buzzing crazy right now. That's why I mentioned not since Dolomite film with Eddie Murphy and all these people that came and assembled around it. If you look at the cast I just mentioned, this is an all-star film. This is up there with anything Mel Brooks would have done at the time, or just the amount of talent that you're getting in the comedy world. And I feel like, man, the critics were just extra harsh on this film unnecessarily, man. They did not understand what was going on at the time.
What I will say is this, and I had a conversation with you about this before we started the show, before we pressed record. I had a conversation with a very significant friend of mine before I left the house, that, what it was, my personal opinion, is that this is where Eddie Murphy broke the mold. You know what I'm saying? The powers that be, the ones that are pulling the strings with whatever, be it critics or be it the more Caucasian side of things. They had a certain kind of view and a certain kind of Eddie Murphy that they liked in films. And this one, maybe they perceived as unrelatable because it didn't apply to them. So because of that, then they want to bag the film.
A lot of stuff Eddie was doing that he was successful on at the time was he was the black guy thrown into this.
Yes,
this was the black situation.
Yes.
Starring black people.
Yes.
Directed by a black guy.
And see, like, and that's the thing. Like, it's like how can the more Caucasian side of things, you love Eddie Murphy in 48 Hours, because he's with Nick Nolte, or because he's portraying himself in a certain kind of likeness.
Man, this movie's better than 48 Hours.
It is.
Like, I don't know,
and I love 48 Hours.
I love it too.
But you know what? I also fucking love this film. I also love Boomerang. I also love The Golden Child. Golden Child is one of my favorite Eddie Murphy films ever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, with that being said, when we talk about this cast, bro, 100% star power. You know what I'm saying? The thing about this cast is that it creates a love for these characters, no matter how big or small their roles are. I mean, dude, one of my favorite scenes in this is when we get Arsenio Hall. All he does is cry for like fucking 5 minutes. He's so over the top. Kill my brother, man. But then you get to see where they're all like shooting him and my man from Return of the Living Dead. Yeah, Joanna, man. They're shooting AKs and stuff, and then the homie is just like, stop shooting! Stop shooting the gun. I mean, these characters are they feel so realistic, man. So realistic.
And that's my thing. Like, if you love Red Fox in Sanford and Son, you're watching all them reruns, but you won't come out to see him in this.
Yes.
One of his last performances.
This is his last.
And he doesn't do many movies.
No, this is his last feature film that he was in. And then the other thing, not only are these characters great just because of the star power, because of the names, because of the way that they have built themselves up as individuals, but they come together. I mean, we get the great Richard Pryor. You know what I'm saying? I I mean,
great in this, man. All off the drugs and just really leaning into being
into his role,
being the role that he has to be. But dude, this, man.
And what makes this film hit for me so much is I cannot watch this film. I hear it first. The dialogue, the banter, the comfortability in how these characters speak with one another.
Scene, man.
I mean,
almost the way they're talking and it's great,
bro. Every time they start talking, when they're all in the same room, it feels like you have a first class seat in the comedy club, and you're just getting like a stand up skit. You know what I mean? It's great. Like and it's seamless. Like you watch this, it's like, dude, did they even have to cut and edit anything? It's just
this
natural.
Is probably just a tough movie to make, just because you're not that it's difficult, but the hilarity, man. You're just around all these dudes just riffing and going off all day, man. Like, I can't imagine how crazy it would be on the set. Even you got all these legends, like I said, Murphy, Red Fox, man, Richard Pryor.
But then it's not even
Robin Harris.
It's not even just it's not even just the dudes. I love what we get out of Della Reese.
Yeah.
Dude,
like,
when she has to pull him out, she's like, "Oh, you accuse me of stealing?" That fight scene, like, I love the dice scene. That's one of my favorite scenes. Bet not crap. I love that. But dude, when she has to put them things on Eddie Murphy, and then Eddie Murphy gets blown and he hits her with a trash. Oh, so you like to hit people with garbage cans, huh? Now I got to cut you. It's like, she is so awesome in this. And I was reading this thing, and they said that the stuff, the four of them together, when you get Pryor, Murphy, Della Reese, and Red Fox, they said the stuff that was on screen was nothing to the banter and the connection that that off the screen.
Yeah, like this had to be a good time just to hang around on the set,
bro,
man, and be the people involved and just soaking this in. I think I even saw a story with Kim Whitley, who's saying at the time she got she basically was a babysitter for the little kid that plays Quick Jr. in that scene. So basically her task was to just keep an eye on him while they were filming these scenes around, and they said that she had got into it with one of the comedians on the set, and basically that led to her getting more work because they saw how she handled herself. Basically, one of the cast members, for whatever reason, kind of singled her out and was poking fun at her. But then, it was my man Ronaldo Ray. He said something, and the way that she responded to him and came back to him, they was like, "Yo, I think it was I forgot who it was. I think it might have been Red Fox himself." approached her, was like, yo, what's your name, blah blah blah, and then had her coming out later doing opening stuff for him, like on the comedy circuit, man. Like
nice.
this is like a crazy film, man. A lot of stuff came out of this. Just this collaborate. Like I said, man, if you announced this cast today, like it would have been groundbreaking. But at the time, you know, we don't have the social media and all that. And like I said, man, I think there just wasn't enough respect put on this film at the time that it came out to be, you know, for what it is.
I feel like it was intentionally bagged. You know what I'm saying? Because, you know, like I said,
I just think also some of the
powers
critics,
that be, they felt like it wasn't for them. So because it wasn't for you doesn't make it a bad film.
Yeah, I think some of the critics just didn't understand, because I think this thing is universally funny.
Yes.
If you sit down and watch this movie, but I think a lot of people just don't. Once you see too many black faces in the cast and stuff, for you feel like it's a black film. But what does that mean? It's just a film exactly that has black people, but if you're a film viewer and a watcher, you know that films, there's only like maybe 12 stories in all of filming that you could tell, and the only thing that's different is the people portraying it. So this is still a story about it's a crime noir that has comedy to it. And think about that though, how many crime stories have we seen that are as good as this? Right. There have been attempts that are barely mentionable.
Well, and not for trash. Nothing. Like even though this is a comedy, it has a undertone of realistic value. You know what I'm saying? It's just told in a funny way. You know how many situations I've been through in my real life, and when I tell these stories to my homies, I say it with a smile on my face and I make it sound funny. It wasn't funny when I was running from the police when it was happening, but it's funny when I'm telling you, because I find the enjoyment in it now. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing. This story is actually, if anyone who's seen the film Hoodlum, okay, this is loosely based off of the Lucky Luciano story with Lawrence Fishburne's character who was running the numbers. That's the more serious version of what we get from this story. And it's during Prohibition, running, you know, and anyone just trying to come up in any way, shape, or form, you know what I'm saying? With all of the you know, trying to dodge the red tape, you know what I'm saying? I mean, you had the cops trying to lay down the law, but also getting their pockets lined by the right people, you know what I'm saying? Like, and that's what I love about this story, is that, you know, Richard Pryor, he makes it very clear. He's like, yo, we're not gangsters, okay? We're number runners. We're just trying to come up. And the thing is that they were so good at what they did that, you know, the mob noticed. And this guy Bugsy, he's like, yo, you know what? They're making a mint. There's a part where he comes in, he's like, yo, he's like, bro, you pulled back 12 racks on a Monday. No one does nothing on Monday, but you are doing something on a Monday, and I want a piece of that. Matter of fact, I don't just want a piece, because he didn't come in like, oh yeah, you know, well, if you do this, then I'll make sure that you're protected. No, it's just greed. You know what I'm saying? Oh, you're getting it, and so by the means that you're getting it, it's taken away from the way I'm getting it, so now I'm gonna have to take yours and flex nuts.
It's kind of the bullshit that the mob did back in the day.
It is bullshit. They're bullies.
It's easier to take it than to make it, you know?
Yeah, you don't want to earn it, bro.
I'm just gonna find the next guy who's taking it and lean on them. But you look at the history, like I said, man, of these crime genre-based comedies, and most of these things don't hold a candle to what we got in this film. And there's some stuff that came out over the years, but it's still they're not as good as this film is, man. No. And that's what's killing me, man. But it's dope, man. What are we dealing with? The 30s, 40s?
This is the early 20s, dog.
20s?
Like,
okay,
so it starts off in 1918, okay, and then we get a 20-year pushover. So then it's the 1930s, almost the 1940s.
Yeah. So I think that's cool though. We get all the looks, like I think that's where it shines too, man.
Oh my gosh,
the gear, the costumes, and all that stuff, and just the look of the era, the cars.
Yeah. They ain't the only ones that was getting fresh. You know what I'm saying?
the locales, like all that pays into immersing us into this era that we're dealing with, man. I think that was cool for them to take the time to detail. It's a period film, dude. They give us Harlem in the 1920s to 1940s, and I mean, this is the essence of Harlem. You know what I'm saying? In that era, like you said, not just with the dress, with the banter, the look of the buildings,
the cars. I mean, they paid so much attention to detail, and they made it seem effortless. You know what I mean? Even look at the guns, dog. When I mean, they were busting Tommy guns with the drum on the bottom. Like, you don't even see those nowadays. Everything is extendo clips. They don't have no drums.
Yeah. So it's cool, man, that they take the time to recreate that detail, man. But overall, man, like we got a great story here, man. Like I said, man, it basically, and I do like the aspect too. We also got when we're talking about Sugar, played by Richard Pryor. He's kind of old, like he's getting worn out by this whole lifestyle, and ultimately he's thinking about getting out of the game anyway before the mob starts, pressing him out for his money. So what I do like about the story too is like one last score. They've got this Mike Tyson type character who's got a big fight coming up, and essentially they're putting all their money on the other guy because they paid our guy to take a dive. And
it's 4-1 odds, bro.
And this is the first loss he's going to take, and he's like, "I know you, Sugar, you my man. Like, I don't care. Like, let's get paid." And that's kind of goofy, man. I guess so some of this humor in this, it is dated. Like, I don't know if you could get away with making fun of that character the same way as you could back then,
because they gave him an extreme stutter.
Yeah, it's not just the Mike Tyson high pitched thing. It's also like this guy's got brain damage, and that's part of the
stutter.
That's part of the joke of it all. It's
like every time he starts talking, Richard Pryor just has this look on his face, like you can tell he knows what he's trying to say, and he's just like finishing this conversation before it's happening.
But you know what I like about their scam? I forgot what it was. They put all the money.
They put all the money on the other guy, but then that prompted the mob guy to then he's like, oh. So the homie's taking a dive. So then he doubles back and drops like another 500 racks. And then they end up wanting to hit the number bookies. So they're going to rob the bookie house. So they're getting all of the booking money, but then they're also getting his extras. And then they what they did very strategically, which I might have fell victim to this one too. They tossed my man a ray of sunshine, and she was pretty much. She was one of the call girls that worked under Della Reese.
Yeah, that's how they get the gambling money.
He was the one who was running the numbers for the mob, and she just portrayed herself as somebody who was running numbers for Sugar Ray, which also I think is very cool that, I mean, this is the attention to detail I'm talking about. Like, so during the daytime, Ray ran a candy store.
Yeah, that was
it's called Sugar Ray's. That was his legit shit. But then he also has like the after hours spot called Sugar Ray's. Like, I mean, come on, man, a candy store owner and the spot's named Sugar Ray's. Like, come on, look at how well thought out this is. And also, not only was this movie written by Eddie Murphy, it was directed by him. So how do you not just peep game? Like, this dude did an amazing thing here.
Jeez, like I said, man, it just wasn't appreciated.
No.
And it could have been anything, man. Maybe it's a little racism. Maybe it's just
a lot of racism.
Maybe
you don't have to say it. I'll say it. A lot of racism.
They just didn't appreciate the talent of these guys. Maybe at this point, maybe Eddie Murphy was their Adam Sandler. Maybe he was commercially successful, but they didn't think there was much else to that. And maybe that's why this thing.
No, they wanted him to be in a box.
Yeah,
they wanted him to be in a box. You have to be this kind of guy, not be yourself. No, fuck that.
It's funny, but this story is kind of serious. It's
very serious,
the
dog.
most serious premise he's dealt with in a while. Like, even though I think 48 Hours has a serious edge to it, but it's goofy with him and Nolte's interactions. But this thing, like this story, if you took the jokes out of this thing would be like, it would probably play more like Hoodlum.
Dude, that's what I was just about to say. If you take the jokes out of it, then we're watching Hoodlum, and we're not talking about Eddie Murphy. We're talking about Lawrence Fishburne. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it's the same thing, but this just has such a high comedic value. It's like, dude, if you watch this through a transparent lens, like, you have to see the star power, the effort, the energy, and the comedic value that it brings. There's no other way to put it. Like, anyone who tells me that they don't like Harlem Nights, something's wrong with you.
Something's wrong with you, man.
Something's wrong with you.
Like I said, I saw this and when as a kid, and like I said, I don't know what happened that day, but I know I saw this by myself. I think my mom and my brother watched something else at the same time. But for some reason, their movie ended before this. This is 2 hours. I guess they watched a 90-minute movie.
It's 2 hours well spent.
And then I came out and my mom was kind of seemed like she was a little annoyed. It's like, how long was this? I was like, man, I'm just in here.
All I did was cop a squat. I don't know.
I was laughing like a mug. I know that was one of my favorite days to be at the movies. I'm just sitting here and laughing. And then I remember the Ebert thing coming out around this time. Oh, they said so many hundred F-bombs. And I'm like, yeah, but was it good though? Did you like it?
But then look at the movies.
Like, man,
look at the movies that they praised in the same era. I mean, I mean, my movie prowess is pretty good. My catalog is long, but I mean, I can't tell you what else they were praising at the time that probably had other stuff going on that is not, worth talking about.
89 was a weird year for comedies. We got Uncle Buck, which
Uncle
is
Buck
classic.
was good.
It was great. The Burbs.
Yeah, I love The Burbs.
Back to the Future 2 was out. K9. Dead Poets Society.
Oh shit, Ghostbusters 2?
See No Evil, Hear No Evil.
Love that.
What else? Little Monsters.
Oh my gosh, I can't wait till we bring Little Monsters up. I love that shit.
Blind Fury, but it wasn't like a lot of the stuff was much better than what we got from Harlem Nights. If I gotta rank comedies from this year, that Harlem Nights is going to be kind of up there,
dude. It's
bro.
It's top three. It's top tier. It's top tier. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Like of all the films that you just rung off, I mean, the Harlem Nights
came out.
It's top tier.
Ritter. I did like True Beverly Hills, but it ain't better than Harlem Nights. True Beverly Hills.
Ritter is fucking Problem Child. That came out.
Yeah. So it's not
Tango and Cash. I mean, how can you take if you could take Tango and Cash serious?
Major League.
I mean, come on, bro.
UHF Weekend at Bernie's.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Which is good.
It's a good movie.
Visually appealing.
Dude, none of these things I've named that I would. If I got a choice, like you only watch one of these that I'm watching before Harlem Nights, man. Like, look who's talking,
dude. Dude, you have to, you have to ask yourself like this.
When Harry Met Sally.
Okay, so like, if you're stranded on an island and you can only pick 10 movies from a certain time period. Would you in 89 if you're fucking on Gilligan's Island by yourself? You mean to tell me you wouldn't have Harlem Nights on your list? Mm-hmm. If you don't, something's wrong with you. And it's not my place to tell you who you are, or I'm not judging. I live in a judgment-free zone, dog. My conscience is clean every day.
You got Fletch Lives. It's just not.
It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
If it doesn't make dollars, it doesn't make sense.
I mean, unfortunately, sometimes time is a great revealer, and time has been, I think, very kind to Harlem Nights, and people now recognize the greatness that was this film,
and that is the cool thing about it, because the rewatchability in this film. I know we love to talk about classic films because we love to talk about the films that have influenced and shaped and warped the world that we now live in currently, today, tomorrow, next week, next year. But this film, the rewatchability, you could watch it tomorrow, bro. Anyone who's watching the show, watch it after you watch the show and see how funny it still is. The jokes are timeless. It's none of this nothing about this movie is in a time capsule. It's not like watching like the first season of In Living Color, where all of the jokes are relevant to the world that we're living in at that time. This movie is still funny now. As funny as it was in 89. And I love that shit. And also, not only is it funny, but it is all just wrapped together around this ultimately awesome, like jazzed up soundtrack, dude. Like the opening credits, like you get this smooth saxophone. And I mean, I listen to a lot of music, but the saxophone is the most seductive instrument that can be played. Okay. Well, mine is like, if you're not Kenny G, then the clarinet doesn't exist, okay? Kenny G banged that clarinet, bro. But outside of that, I mean, this jazzy flow that's going on, and then it just sets the tone, and they have this like silk background as you're listening to this music, and you're just kind of like, as a viewer, or especially on your first ride, you're just like okay, what am I getting myself into? But they ease you in. it's like, oh man, you got this silky background, and it's just this music going. It's great.
Do sometimes it takes me out. Sometimes I roll with it, but like the music in this, the score is from the era, you know.
Yes.
But then I see some movies lately. Sometimes it doesn't take me out, but then sometimes they throw a DMX in a film that's taking place in the 30s, and I'm like,
bro, I don't want to. This dude's about to, make love to his woman. It's like, where my dogs at? It's like, what the fuck is happening? Wait. What?
Yeah, or they just pick just bad things, or things that just don't.
Yes,
fit,
it doesn't equate. But this one, like I said, as with every other aspect of this film, it's seamless. It's effortless. Like the jazz, it really sets the tone, and then we get into the first scene. It's like, put it like this, bro. I don't know how to roller skate. If I went to the roller skating rink, I could not go out there by myself. But if an experienced professional holds my hand, I roll with them. That's how this score works with this film. Dig what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's what's up, man. But yeah, man, like I just encourage you to just rewatch this, man. If you haven't seen it, if you've seen it, watch it again. Like this is one that I watch, several times. Anytime it pops up on one of the streaming services, I'll run it back. But it's just a great story, man. Great cast, very well acted, really funny. You know what I'm saying?
Very funny,
and the jokes hold up.
Belly laughs.
It's great, man. This is really good humor, man. And that's about it, man. That's all I could say about it, man. Great film, man. Definitely
I can think about 85 more things to say, but only one of them pertains to this film, so I'll keep the rest of them in my head, and I'll save them for later. Watch this film.
Yeah.
Like you said, if you haven't ever seen it, do yourself a favor and go watch it like now. And if you have seen it, do yourself another favor and watch it again.
Yeah, man. Definitely.
Simple.
Great, man. Great.
Easy math. 1 + 1 does equal 2.
Yeah, and this is on the tail end of the 80s, man. This is probably one of the last great films of the 80s, man. The 89 year. Yeah. It's top, man.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, check it out, and check us out, man, on Instagram, man, at Classes of Cinematics. Check out the From the Canopy Network at FTCNet. Follow me at Monkey Blood, man, on Twitter and Instagram, folks.
Yes, and you can follow me on Instagram at Bobby Blockbuster 118.
Yeah, we out of here. Peace.
You got the yawn.